Hey guys. So this is kind of along the same lines as the last video. We're going to talk about speaking spiritual versus being spiritual. So I run into a lot of people all the time that talk the spiritual and or metaphysical talk, but they're not actually walking the walk. Some of us learner, teacher types, we can really do ourselves a disservice by spending way too much time reading and learning and studying, but not actually taking the next steps and applying that learning to our lives. I spent at least 10 years just learning before I really even put into practice based on what I learned. I felt at the time the more I learned, the better I would be, the more knowledge I would have. I also had fear, and I didn't want to admit to myself at the time, I had fear that I would fail, that I would be a failure. I put so much effort into developing my spiritual belief system at the time. I thought, what if I start applying this learning to my life and it doesn't actually work? What if my belief system is wrong? All of those are good questions, but how could I ever figure it out if I spent all my time learning and developing my belief system without actually trying any of it in my own life? It got to a point where I realized, how could I maintain a belief system that I haven't even proven to myself works? How can I expect to teach others and share knowledge about things that I've only ever read about, but not actually experienced for myself? Not that you have to experience it to teach it, but it does help a lot, especially in building rapport and connection. That's when I transitioned from the learning state to the doing state. And it's been a blast. Yes, some of my belief systems have changed based on experience, and that's okay. Our belief systems are changing every day. Our beliefs should always be shaped out of what resonates within us, what feels sacred, what feels right for us, regardless of what anyone else says or thinks or believes. Our spiritual belief system is ours to shape. Hearing, learning, reading is different than living it. You can learn all day long about the law of attraction. For example, you can speak intelligently about it, but if you yourself are not attracting what you want into your life, it means you've mastered the knowledge, possibly, but not the application, not the doing and the being of law of attraction. Another example is learning to drive. You can spend a year in a classroom learning all about driver's education, safety, rules of the road. You can learn all about how the cars work. And by the end, you will absolutely know all about driving. However, can you start telling people you can drive? No. You can tell them you know how to drive. That doesn't mean you have the ability to drive yet. Until you apply the learning from the class to actually getting into a car and learning how to drive, it's just knowledge. Knowledge is potential power. Being and doing, that's real power. Another example is someone who wants to learn to be more patient. They read all kinds of books about different ways and techniques on how to be more patient. They have all these methodologies now, yet in real life, you lose your patience constantly with your spouse, with your kids, with workmates, with your pets or your fur babies. What is the point in learning it if you're not applying it to your life? You have to start doing things to help you be more patient if that's what you're wanting. Start using the techniques you've read about in the moments that you need patience the most, not when everything's great. It's easy to be patient when no one is pissing you off, right? If you have read all about how to create and hold space for someone, another example, and you don't put it into practice, what's the point? Or let's say you do put it into practice and it becomes second nature. How do you level up from there? Well, you can try creating and holding space during an argument that you're a part of. How does that change the entire argument and the environment and exchange of energy? Drastically. Is it still as easy to create and hold energy when you're involved in a dispute? No. But can it be done? Absolutely. With practice and application. If you are the learner-teacher type and you haven't yet started applying your learning to your life, I'm here as a reminder that it's time. It doesn't mean you have to stop learning. Us learner types will never stop learning because we love it. It does mean, though, that you should take more of the time that you dedicate to learning to actually applying, being, doing what it is you've already learned. You have to be more to be more. You have to do more to do more. That's where the real magic happens. And this is where you have to be honest with yourself completely. That's it for today. Have a great one.